Alright, what's up? How's it going? How are you? My name is Troy Harrison Chriest. You guys can just call me THC in the comments. Today I'm going to teach you how I actually live stream on YouTube. I have a lot of viewers that probably would like to know this because they watch live streams on YouTube. Maybe they want to do it in the future. It's honestly pretty easy. I've done about 100 of these, maybe 120 if you count on the ones I've deleted over the years. But yeah, here's basically the basic tips for going live on YouTube using just classic OBS. So first things first, obviously download OBS. I'm using version 26.00, the 64-bit Windows version. Here's kind of your basic rundown of OBS. So what you need to stream, correct? Usually a webcam, usually some headphones, typically an external mic. I'm using a Blue Yeti. It works very well. So first thing we're going to do is basically set up our OBS how we want it to run, and you can't do that without adding basically a, where is it? Video capture device right here. We're going to go into there, click OK. If you have a webcam plugged in, it'll have, I already have one set up, but basically you come into here, you select your webcam, you can configure your video, you can make your FPS. Basically, you want this at 60. You do not want to be streaming with your webcam at 30 FPS. Your video format. It's just pretty simple for the webcam. You put it on, and then you can go like this. And if you hold down Shift, it'll scale it directly like that. If you don't hold down Shift, it'll scale in a different aspect ratio that you typically will not want to do. What I like to do when I'm playing games is not have this display capture. Usually, I do not do that. Usually, we go into game capture. So if you don't know how to add one of these, once again, you press down here, you add game capture, okay, and most games you can have it where it just captures any full screen application, but if for whatever reason that's not working, you come down here to capture specific window, and then you select the window right here. If you have a game open, it will automatically put that game right there. That's what you want to do, and that's going to be the most beneficial. Usually display capture when you're playing games kind of lags a lot. And you definitely don't want that whatsoever. All right, coming down here, when you're streaming, you need to have, obviously, your mic audio as well as your game audio. So if we come down here, you can add an audio output capture as well as an audio input capture. An input capture is what I am inputting into the mic. It is what I am saying. An audio output capture will be whatever's coming through your headphones or your speakers. You really should not be using speakers if you're streaming because that'll pick up on your microphone. But basically, you add an audio output capture, yada, yada, yada. You don't want it in default. You want to select your headphones. So with me, it's going to be the headphone ear set Corsair Void. You literally just click that. And then down here, when something is playing through that output, you'll see it right there. Obviously, right here, you can see my mic and the volume over here. We do not want the mic to be going past this yellow thing. So sometimes when I yell, it'll go up into the red. You don't want that. You really don't want that. So around minus 15 dB, maybe minus 18 dB is a perfect decibel for whatever mic you have. That's kind of where I keep it at, but feel free to play around with whatever sounds the best. But real quick, we're going to go into our advanced audio properties. So click on any of your input captures, correct? When you're streaming, you can only have what's the word? You can only have one audio layer. When you're recording videos, you can have multiple audio layers. Like I can record my mic and my gameplay in separate things. But when you're streaming, this is a lot of people have problems with this. Go to Advanced Audio Properties. It'll bring you to this menu right here. So when you are recording, that's the one I added. When you're recording, you're gonna want to switch your mic from track 1 to track 2. You need both of them on track 1. Like, let's say you were recording a video, so you had your gameplay on track 2, so you can edit it later if you need to do any audio fixing, correct? When you're actually streaming, you can't do that, so you have to have your audio dialed in, and you have to have it only on one track, or it's not going to pick up both of them. Pretty much. And what is all this stuff? Delete that. You don't want any of that. When you're streaming, you want your microphone on the first track, and you want your gameplay on the first track as well. Pretty much. Okay, moving on from there, if we go into my actual settings for streaming, a lot of you are not going to be able to do these exact settings because you're not going to have the same computer as me, pretty much. but this is my optimization settings for 1080p streaming. General, you really don't have to worry about general at all. In stream, this is where you add your stream key from YouTube. If you do not know where to find that, I will show you that later in the video. But that's where you add it in stream. For output, all right, here we go. Here's my setup. So I am using NVIDIA NVENC H.264 new for my encoder, but a lot of you are not going to be able to do that. The reason I can do that is because I have 2 graphics cards. If you're playing a game that only uses your first graphics card and doesn't use your second, then you have that entire second GPU to use for streaming, and it works, honestly, really, really well. So here's kind of my settings. In my preset, you always want it on max quality. You literally, unless you cannot run it, you want it on max quality, and then you can dial in your bitrate after that. So for me, a good bitrate for 1080p, if we go back to output, I can run about 9,000 kbps, whatever that means for the bitrate, and that will give me a non-grainy stream. But if you go down to like 6,000 or 7,000, you're going to start getting these sort of blocks, and that only really happens when you're scaling the stream. So on my bitrate, I have it at CBR, which means it's a constant bitrate. So if it cannot hit this bitrate, it'll drop frames. So a lot of people, this is going to be the best option because you're always going to have a smooth video if you're at a setting that you can actually maintain. Constant bitrate is the best. VBR sucks. Variable bitrate, it's stupid. You should really just never use it. Always CBR. Try to hit at least 7,000 or 8,000. I'm almost to 10,000 on mine. For my keyframe interval, we have that at 0. Preset max quality, profile high. Down here, turn on psycho-visual tuning. Just do it. Trust me, it helps. So if you're somebody like me who has a second graphics card and you're streaming in NVENC new, you're going to want to set this to GPU 1. Because your first graphics card is actually GPU 0, your second one is GPU 1. A lot of you are not going to actually have this, and you're going to be streaming in H.264, correct? Which means it's running off your processor. So if you only have one card, do not use NVENC because the game that you're going to be playing is going to be using your one graphics card. I can only do this because I have an extra one. Enough about that. For the rest of you, with a basic setup, you're probably going to want to be using the encoder X.264 and using your CPU. Unless you're playing a game that absolutely mashes your CPU, like MMOs, games that have to load a ton of stuff, games like, I don't know, Kingdom Come Deliverance doesn't work very well with X.264. For most of you, it will be X.264 instead of H.264. But for me, this is what I like. This is what works. This is what streams smoothly and doesn't drop frames. If we go into our audio, I just don't mess with any of that. Okay, here is video. I can't change any of these settings right now because I am currently recording with OBS. But so my monitor is 4K 3840 x 2160, but I stream in 1080p. If you want to, you can switch this to 1440p, and on YouTube, you can totally do that. You just need a really good internet connection. So basically, right here is what really matters. So if you have a 1080p monitor and you're streaming in 1080p, you don't have to use any scaling to sharpen the image because you're not scaling the image. But if you have a 1440p monitor or a 4K monitor and you are streaming it in 1080p, there are 2 options for scaling, either Landscos, which is a 36 sample scaler, or the one above it, which I believe is a 12 sample scaling. Basically, Landscos will give you the best clear picture if you're scaling the image down. Pretty much. What else should I cover? Oh, okay, here we go. Hotkeys are very, very important and super duper helpful. Basically, the ones that you're going to want is a recording hotkey and a stop recording hotkey, as well as typically a streaming hotkey and a stop streaming hotkey. But you guys have to be really careful with this. If you set your streaming hotkey to a button that you use all the time, you could start a stream without even knowing it and be live, and just whatever's on your webcam, whatever's coming through your mic will be played to your people, which you don't want. So be careful setting up a start streaming hotkey. It is kind of nice if you boot up a game in full screen and you have it just running properly, right? Then you can just click the key binding to get it going and not have to tab out or go to a second monitor if you have one. I don't, to start streaming. Besides that, let's go to the YouTube end and see what you guys need to know. So before you ever click this start streaming button down here, basically, you have to go to YouTube. Whoa, my screen went black. You go to YouTube, you come up to the create button, you click go live. Here you'll be able to add all sorts of stuff that are very, very important if you want people to actually see your stream. So right here, it has basically the information from my last stream and earlier when I talked about the stream key. Here is where you get your stream key. So if you want to actually go live on YouTube, you copy this, you come back to OBS, you go to settings, you go to stream, and you paste it right there. And it's pretty much going to be the same Steam key or stream key, not a Steam key, every time you stream unless you decide to change it or if you mess with your latency settings. So down here is latency. Normal latency will have probably I want to say a 40-second delay, maybe a minute. Low latency is about 10 seconds to 15 seconds off. Ultra low latency is pretty much as soon as you say it, it's being streamed. Over here, you can add a delay if you want. Right here, enable DVR. This is a very important setting. If you want your stream to be viewable after you're done streaming, you need to have this button on. That means digital video recording. We're going to record your stream and post it as a video after on. Here is your analytics. This will show you your playbacks, your watch time, your chat rate, your concurrent viewers, viewer activity. That's where super chats and stuff like that pop in. Your stream health. This will show you if you are dropping frames or not, or if you're sending enough data to YouTube. Also in OBS, down here, if your stream is lagging or it's dropping frames, it'll be a red square or a orange square. If it's running perfectly, it'll be a bright green square, and it'll say no dropped frames about right here. So, to the actual part right here, this has changed a lot on YouTube recently. It's changed, honestly, a ton. It's changed a ton. Up here is where you edit your stream. You're going to want your title in there. Make sure you drop a little red circle or nobody's going to know that you're actually live. Right here, you have your public, unlisted, or for your members. If you're like me, I have a couple of members, so I could stream only to them, but I don't have enough to where that's viable and that's smart. You never want to have your stream as unlisted unless you're doing like a paid course or something like that. Let's say you teach a science class and you want to stream on YouTube. Unlisted would be the move, so anybody who you send the link to will find it, but it won't be public on your channel. Private, only you can view. Nobody should ever use this. All channel members, that's anybody who pays $1 to $5 for my channel. Troy Boys and higher, or people that pay $5 or more. Right here is where you add your game title. You really need this to be on there, or else people are not going to be able to find your stream if you're not in the right category. So this is one of the things that will kind of carry over from stream to stream. So if you're playing Halo 3 on one stream, and then the next stream you're playing Mafia 1, you have to come down here and change that. Yeah, you do. Right here is enable monetization. You always want that on, because, yeah, that's how we make money here on YouTube. Down here is where you change your thumbnail. So you're going to want to make a thumbnail for your stream that pops out, that invites people, a thumbnail that YouTube can promote, that there's nothing inappropriate in, pretty much. This thumbnail worked pretty well. You can change it. You just go to your computer, and you pick a new one. Here is my folder with just way too many thumbnails. So many thumbnails. Pretty much. Okay, after that, you just click save. Or you can say, yes, it's made for kids, but pretty much if you're going to be a gaming live streamer, it is not made for kids. If you say, yes, it's made for kids, you have zero monetization options based off the California whatever Protection Act, basically. Does that make sense? If you say it's made for kids, you cannot get super chats, you cannot get donations, you cannot get super stickers, you cannot get ad rolls. It is not made for kids, pretty much. You can also set an age restriction, which I have never done, and I do not believe you should. So after that's all done, you've added your title, you've put it in the gaming section, or the sports section, or the music section, or whatever you're streaming. Then you're going to click save, pretty much. This will not go live once you click save. It'll only go live once you click start streaming from OBS, if that makes sense. And that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it for a nice 1080p 60 FPS stream. That's my recommendations, and hopefully somebody has found some value or some information useful in this video. Sorry my camera has been doing that the whole time, where it's duplicating itself over and over again, but whatever. What are you gonna do? All right, guys, my name is Troy Harrison Chriest. You can call me THC. Stop by one of my live streams. That is how you live stream on YouTube. Wait! I forgot something. I'm going to do it right now. Forget I just did an intro. Okay, so OBS, the classic version, has a really, really sick audio filter. So if you right-click on Audio Input Capture, go to Filters, click Add New Filter, Add Noise Suppression. And then on the method, you do not want specs. That one is dumb. You have to, like, set your frequency. If you go to RN Noise, higher quality, it is amazing. See that? I have a really loud computer going with a ton of fans, and you can't hear it at all. It cuts all of it out. This literally saves so much time when recording videos because you don't have to, like, rip audio out of it or rip out background audio. It's just great. RN Noise, that's my last tip. Thank you for watching. My name is Troy Harrison Chriest. I will see you hopefully very soon. Leave a like, and yeah, have a good day. That's how you stream on YouTube. It's pretty easy. Peace.